All right, so I'll go ahead and get started. So I don't really have like a plan here. I kind of have a few things I want to say, but yeah, at least the event still gets to be held. We're still drifting this weekend. That's exciting. Um, sorry, I just got home, so I'm eating. Um, so what happened? All right, so obviously, Owasso's this weekend. It's been rescheduled from August 25th to November 2nd now. And our discussions back at that time, whenever it was rescheduled due to the race delay, basically came down to that we're going to reschedule to a point that's postseason of all the racing. Um, and it's sweet because we'll be able to have spectators. Um, from our end, MMDC, that was the agreement at that time because it was updated from what our original thing was. Basically, the original thing was going to be we're going to be there August 25th. We're going to be there on a Sunday. We're going to get in, do some drifting. We're going to get out, no spectators, just driving, pure, exactly what it is. See how the facility likes it, see how they react, and then kind of go from there. Um, with the change to allowing spectators, and then kind of just how the season has gone, we've grown and expanded a bit more. And so we were pretty excited to be like, oh, okay, cool. This is a good one for everyone to come and take part in. And then kind of moving forward from there, kind of going back and forth as necessary to lock everything in. And I mean, obviously, I think I made that announcement on Tuesday or whatever that like here's some additional information for the weekend that's going to help everybody. At that point, we thought we were all good to go still. um, but we found out yesterday about I don't know noon, 1 o'clock. Got a call got contacted by the owner or indirectly from the owner that he found out about some stuff. Turns out that the people we were working with that we had made these agreements with and everything like that um, that there was a lack of communication on their end as well, and the owner wasn't aware of um, I guess what was going on this weekend, and especially not just from like he knew that it sounds like he knew that we were going to be drifting, but his expectations were very different than our agreement at that point. And so it was obviously upsetting, to hear about this kind of in the 11th hour. And at that point, we've really been recovering since then to go from like he wasn't willing to take on that risk for a couple of reasons. And I will, hopefully this helps at least understand where his perspective is coming from. They had already winterized the track, so there's no electricity. That's why we're not able to use a tire machine. There's no water, so that's actually a big issue with spectators because there's not enough bathrooms. I know that's part of the reason. I don't know, obviously, and then also like the facility has been put away, like it's not set up for hosting as well as he would like. This is if you guys haven't been to Owosso, it's super nice, to say the least. They've really put a lot of work and effort into it over the last, I think, like year and a half, 2 years or something like that. And it's a world class facility. And so, as the person who owns the thing, I can understand why he's like, it needs to be presented in a certain way, as well. So that combined with not being in the loop, which we had hoped he was, that combined with not being in the loop, just was not a good situation. So thankfully from there, we were able to talk to him a little bit more and kind of reel him back from, canceling the event, which honestly from our, we can definitely see where, hey, I'm the owner of this place and I'm just finding out about exactly what's going on this weekend on Tuesday. Like or Wednesday. I mean, I can understand why he's reacted the way he was. So, I just going to kind of let everyone know that. And so since there, we've been working with him to figure out and as well as his staff members because they had other plans for this weekend and stuff like that out of town to get everything that we need to actually run a good drift event for the drivers. There's a few things that we went over, and actually I'm going to grab my phone because I have it kind of written out. So that's why he was like, okay, well, he likes racing. He's interested to see kind of how this ends up going. So that's why he ultimately said like, okay, you guys can still have the event. You guys can still come out and drive. Tyler and I are going out tomorrow morning. Took day off from work and stuff like that. I'm going out tomorrow morning to set up barriers and everything like that, so we can have everything set up safe. And have a good track for you guys. Um, and it's a lot of stuff to get in motion. Um, and then we'll be back on Saturday to run. So it's super unfortunate. Obviously, I was really excited to kind of show the Owosso area, I guess, what drifting was all about. Like, I think there's a lot of people that were interested in coming to this. I know this is a local track for quite a few people. Obviously, we all are having our friends and family there, at a minimum, even if it's not just kind of additional spectators beyond that point who are interested in the sport. So we're fully aware and feeling the I guess the challenge, I guess, or the burden. I don't know. This is tough. This is tough for all of us. I'm just I have to say that I'm just thankful that at least we can still bring this experience to the drivers, and really hope that you guys have a good time. And we are really sorry about kind of all the back and forth and changes and everything like that. It's not fun. It's not fun for us. We've had emotional roller coaster. Um, so we are good to go for the weekend, though. Couple of thanks, Rob. I appreciate that. Um, Sorry, just give me a second. I got to pull up this list because it was a good list. Yeah, there's been a lot of reacting. It's not very fun. So yeah, barriers are good to go. Time, yeah. So your schedule's going to stick with the same. We got the end time at 6:30. That should be right around dark, anyways. The facility doesn't have any lights, doesn't have any power, so we can't even turn on the lights. So we want to make sure that everyone can get get off track, get loaded safely, and get out of the facility without any additional complications. There's not going to be a tire machine. And I know I said this in the post. There won't be a tire machine, but Cody Logan is going to be bringing his tire machine and compressor and stuff like that. And so he'll be there to change tires for $10 a piece. The track, like I said in my post, the track surface is a little bit rougher on tires, so plan accordingly. And again, going back to the no spectators thing, so that's the last thing on my list, or one of the last two. There's one more thing after this. Is I'm not looking forward to this. Is please, if you know anybody that's planning on coming to spectate, let them know that we're not able to facilitate that for this event. Definitely come back to Jackson on the 30th, and we hope that they can be understanding. I'm really not excited for greeting people who've driven whatever distance it may be, even if it's 5 minutes or but like if it's like 5 hours or something like that, but whatever distance it may be to be there, I'm really not looking forward to kind of saying, hey, we can't let you in. Like, that's not going to feel good, to say the least. Yeah, please, we're trying to get the word out. I don't know how to communicate this anymore, and so I'm trying. So I'm here to if anyone has better ideas, I don't even know. We'll get refunds out to anyone who's bought a general admission ticket. I'm going through those as soon as I can. I'm hoping that I can get through it tonight. If not, maybe tomorrow. This is tough. I don't have only have so much throughput. So then the other big thing beyond the spectator situation is right now we're planning on grading up on track, and that surface is a lot. It's a good surface for racing, but for we're really concerned about like any leaks. So triple check your cars. Make sure there's no oil, power steering, fuel leaks, or anything like that, because that'll be a problem. That being said, we are going to be there tomorrow, and I do have a couple of ideas on how we can grid off track so that we can avoid the issue entirely. Obviously, still not good to have leaks, but at least we can alleviate one stressful piece. Oh, hey, we messed up the track surface and have to repave that section. So that's kind of what we're trying to avoid is that problem. So just please I know it's hard, but either put like socks around like your power steering reservoir, for instance, if it overflows, catch cans, things like that, to minimize and ideally completely eliminate the chance of leaking onto this track's surface. So we'll go over this in the drivers meeting on Saturday. That's going to be a drivers meeting at 9:30. We'll go over go over this stuff in that once we finally like have the this is what we're gonna do for sure. Um, Hopefully, if we can get that figured out tomorrow, we'll get some communications out there on the Facebook page, um, so you guys are aware when you get there. Um, and then I know that we've gotten so that's actually I'll pause. That's kind of the situation. And why I say it's a miscommunication because it is truly just a miscommunication. When you think you're doing the right thing and find out that you're weren't. Um, I don't know if anybody in the chat, but like, do you guys have any questions, or is there any more like detail I can provide about that? I mean, obviously, I think most drifters just want to drive, so they're like, whatever, as long as I go sideways, that's cool. I just know it messes up some plans for sure. All right, well, I don't know if there's a delay to this, too, because that was okay. Yeah, all right, cool. Thanks for asking. Yeah, so you still get the +1. So if you don't have a +1, it might even be good to let people know, hey, I don't have a +1 because maybe they can get another person that was going to originally be in their crew there. But everyone is only one +1, and you can bring your kids. Obviously, we understand that if bringing the family out, bring the family out. As far as like you got kids, you can't just leave them at home, right? Or maybe you can if you have a babysitter, but maybe you weren't planning on leaving them at home, so you don't need to do that. And there's really going to be no exceptions to that rule. I guess is something that's good to note. So if you show up with through your buddies in your car and stuff like that, we're going to ask two of them to get out, and I don't look forward to that, but hopefully that doesn't become a problem. Yeah, no problem, John. It'll be should be a fun day. I mean, it's looking like it's going to be a pretty good day, so that's good. All right, cool. So yeah, I guess then if there are a couple of porta potties on site. So I think they said like 2. They might have said 4. It was either 2 or 4. But there are a couple of porta potties on site. So that'd be good. But there's no running water too. So there's no water, no electricity. 4? Okay, yeah. Cool. So 4 porta potties, that's good. Um, um, any other questions? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay. Well, I mean, obviously, feel free to keep asking whatever. I'll try and address that. I want to take a moment to touch on the helmet rule. We've been trying to get as much of this out there as possible, but we do require SA helmets for this one, especially. Um, I don't really want to comment too much about like Jackson for this event, but for this next event, but especially for next year, we're going to be enforcing that SA um, rule. For anybody looking at getting a helmet, we're going to honor the SA 2020s until basically, if you buy an SA 2020, you're pretty much good till 2031, I think is what it comes out to be. Yeah, you're good to go to like 2031. So like, don't hesitate to buy a SA 2020 right now. The SA 2025s should come out in about October next year. And we know that usually there's issues with supply and stuff like that. So we're not going to update the tech rules, where it's going to go from being an SA 2015 plus to an SA 2020 plus, update that in 2026. So for next year, if you've got a 2015, that'll still be fine. But in 2026, that 2015 will not be okay. It's gonna update to the 2020 standard. So don't hesitate to buy don't hesitate to buy a 2020 right now. You're going to be good for 7 more years, or sorry, 6 more years in like a couple months. Yeah, SA rated open faces are perfectly fine. It's really just getting that SA rating because especially with like especially on the fires front. Obviously, we've been fortunate enough to not have like any big fires, but they happen. They happen in racing all the time. We don't need your helmet melting to your head. So that's really important. So SA rated open face and closed face, primo. Um, and we can keep talking about helmets and stuff like that if there's any questions in there. This does apply to passengers too. And so the way we're going to do it for this event is if we see somebody out there with a DOT rated helmet, we're simply just going to say, hey, like we're going to put that at the gate and it'll be there for you on the way out. It kind of sounds weird to me even to say something like that, but really it's just so that we don't have to worry about it after that point. Like, if you come out there if you don't ever come out with a DOT helmet, it's never going to be a problem. We're never going to have any issues. But if we see it, we're going to ask for it, and then we'll have it waiting for you at the gate. We'll give it back to you on the way out. Just stop on the gate and be, hey, can I get my helmet back? Boom, done. We understand, it's fine. We're not going to get mad at you, for doing it. Please don't, obviously. We don't really enjoy the, hey, give me your stuff. We don't really want to do that if we can avoid it. So just please, respect the rule of, have a SA rated helmet. That applies to your passengers as well. So hopefully that's cool. Hopefully that's super understandable. And I guess if you're looking for helmet recommendation, I've got a race quip. I've got another race quip, right? So I've had those. Zamps I've been hearing some good stuff about. So you can keep it pretty cheap, or you can go as nice as you want, and spend more money. That's cool too, because those helmets are really nice too. And if you need to get a hold of something very quickly, reach out to Chad Anderson on Facebook or Instagram. It's what is it, E46 Coyote, I think is what it is. Coyote E46 on Instagram. And he can get you hooked up with with something in time. I think you can still get it in time. Or you can order on Summit. I think it'll be here like tomorrow, basically. So that's all I kind of really want to say about helmets. The next thing is, so we haven't really gone into this too much, but I do have we've been kind of working on how to do it. But we are going to have we do have an exhaust rule. We're kind of trying to and what I think basically is going to boil down to is, and it's not so much for this weekend or anything like that. It's just you're going to see our tech rules update. Our exhaust rule is essentially going to be that if you have a turbocharged car, then you can have it straight piped. It's got the whirly muffler on it. It's going to be fine. It's not going to be too ridiculously loud or anything like that. If you're supercharged or naturally aspirated, though, pretty much we're just going to need a muffler. I think I put some numbers together as far as decibel ratings, but really what it is, we're just trying to make it so that we can continue to communicate clearly on track and safely on track as the running grid or safety. It's very much like a safety thing on that front. Being able to communicate is critical. It's also for spectator entertainment. Nobody needs to have the get blasted in the face by something that's obnoxiously loud. And then also it's for the community's sake, right? So, we've all seen it where tracks are loud, the people in the area complain about it, track gets shut down. I know that there's maybe less concern with Jackson, especially being next to the highway and stuff like that. There's definitely less concern in a lot of ways, which is nice. But at the same time, we want to be respectful of our community, and we've got a couple of noise complaints, and we didn't have noise complaints until recently, right? So we don't want that. We don't want to keep having noise complaints if we can avoid it. So just something to look forward to. That's something to look for as we get the rules out there. But please just be reasonable with your exhaust and straight pipe BMWs. Looking at you, usually those aren't that explicitly decibel loud, but man, they're obnoxious. So, but it's yeah. Straight pipe VQs, man, those are rough. Keep the cats in there. Keep that rasp down. It's a lot as a grid worker when you get blasted in the face with these things all day. It's not enjoyable, and it's not something we want spectators to have as well. So we'll do what we can to kind of facilitate it. Really, if you listen to your car and you're like, oh, cool, it's reasonable, then it's probably fine. If it's obnoxious, maybe make it less obnoxious. So those are just 2 points that I wanted to talk about that because I was working on the tech rules the other day because everything was at that time good to go for this weekend. Oh, I just realized oh wait, no, that's the wrong page. Never mind. Yeah, I really don't have anything else to explicitly talk about right now. I could talk about pretty much anything. So I guess I'll look to the chat for another like 2 minutes or so. If you guys got anything you want to talk about, or any questions on anything, even like what's the next step at Jackson, or what's 2025 looking like, or when's the next clinic? Because or what's going on with Friendsgiving. I'll just talk about what's going on with Friendsgiving for a second, because why not? Friendsgiving is like my favorite event. So and I was trying to get it published before we had to deal with a lot of the stuff for this weekend. So Friendsgiving is coming up November 30th, last week in November. We're going to be doing an event at Jackson. We're going to run from, I got it written around here somewhere. I got a proposal at least. All right, where are we at? All right, so I'm planning for. Okay, yeah, here we go. So basically, we're gonna do planning for drifting from 10 to 6, and then we're gonna take a little break at 6 so that people can get your stuff put away, loaded up, whatever. We can get everything situated in the garage, and then we're gonna have our potluck, Friendsgiving potluck in the garage at about 6:30. So we'll have, I'm gonna smoke some chicken, and we'll have like other snacks and drinks, and then whatever else anybody else signs up. So when you go to sign up, I'm gonna have a Google form that you can click on to. I wonder if I can. I think I can share my screen. Yeah, I can. Anyway, you can have a Google form that you're gonna click on. It's gonna ask how many guests you have, and then what you're gonna bring. And then there's also going to be a link in there to the responses from that form, so you can see what everyone else has. So like the first entry will be for us, for MMDC, smoked chicken, plates, knives, napkins, something like that. And so look at what everyone else has, and if we've got 17 dinner rolls, maybe bring crescent rolls or croissants. I mean, beer, a million beers. So yeah, so that's going to be coming up. That'll be on. That'll get out there. It's going to be just like our other events. As far as $100 to get in, I'll probably do. I don't even know if we're going to do 60 drivers. Last time, I will say 60 drivers at the clinic was really nice. I think that everyone got. I think everyone was there, got like as much as they could possibly get out of the day. We might go more than that for this one. We are kind of trying to move a little bit towards a more open drift, relaxed kind of day for it, if we can. I will say that the last event at Jackson was seriously the best driving I've ever seen there. Like as a whole, everyone was ripping. They like people were. I'm really glad that a couple of the little things that we did seemed to really help with how people were driving the track. Getting really deep into that entry and swinging it out to that first left corner right after that. That was like I remember there was a moment that I was sitting and watching from a distance and being like, I've never seen this many cars go shooting across that gap. And it was like this little sliver that I could see. I couldn't see the entry, and I couldn't see the left corner. I just saw the shoot across the middle as you're transitioning left there, and was like, everyone's shooting way across to go to the outside to the next corner. It was so cool. So just I don't know. That was something that I didn't really like. I didn't make a post or anything about this other than just saying like thank you, which is truly the case, because that was the best driving that I've seen. And it was just like those are some of the things I saw that I thought were really cool. So just and the like, I don't want to say nobody went off, but like basically, relatively speaking, like nobody went off. Like everyone was driving at the level. Like there were so many good things that I was seeing. So we all love, like, wow, we appreciate that. We love that so much. That's just like that's our goal, right? We want you guys to get good quality laps, especially with Jackson. You got to kind of drive the track right, or else you're going to go off. So, and there was an insane amount of progress. So, we are going to keep with that format. We are going to maintain that into the Friendsgiving. We're not going to have as much. Maybe you might not get as much instructor feedback, but we're still going to have run groups. And ideally, we just we really want the end of the day to be open drift, so you guys can get out there and just kind of not really think about, oh, I got to get better. I got to get better. It's like, no, just have fun. And hopefully, and at that point, you've got everyone's usually operating at a level where they're going to kill it, and it's going to be a ton of really good, high quality laps. And that's really cool to see. So yeah, so Friendsgiving, run groups, we'll do short course, we'll do long course, we'll do double lap, short course, like we'll kind of have the same flow. And then we'll just try and do a little bit more open drift towards the end of the day. So Rob asked about reverse, and reverse is an interesting one. Obviously, it's super fun. It's really good. It is like surprisingly good. But we have a couple of things that we got to address before we can really run that again at scale. There's just it's kind of just like the way that a certain section of it flows. Especially so basically, I'll just say what the issue was that I noticed the most. The issue was you enter and then you swing right around that sweeper, and a lot of people are getting shoved to the outside super hard, and they end like we had people end up in the fence a few times. That is not like good. So I don't know how to address that, but we want to get a little bit more, I guess, a little bit better barriers in that situation. We got to figure out something to make that work a little bit better. And I think it really comes down to maybe we as the organization, we need more practice on short course to try and get it or reverse to try to get a better understanding of like, all right, this is how we can do reverse really well, really well. The other thing is that it's also preventing it. And actually, sorry, I glossed over this one. But this is the biggest thing with the additions on reverse. It throws you in bad spots at high speeds, and so we want to get some barriers in to protect anything that might go beyond that the fence, basically. If you're running reverse the manji after, so you enter, you swing it around right, and then you've got that little straightaway that you manji, and then you swing it back towards like the normal entry. You get a lot of speed right there, and especially with throwing it to the outside where you're throwing it now, like now that you can go super deep, which is where you want to be. We're getting really close to that fence there, and you're building more speed, and it can just easily I don't want to see a car go through that fence, basically, because that's really bad. So once we get what we're going to do is we're going to put some concrete barriers on the back side of the tire wall. That way, so if you go off, you hit the tire wall, you're still going to hit a tire wall. It's fine. It's going to have some give, and it's not going to break your car entirely. But then behind that, we'll at least have basically a catch fence with a concrete barrier, so that we don't have to worry about it becoming a bigger issue than just the car. So we got to work on the safety things basically to make reverse work really well, and be comfortable with it and everything like that. So I'm hoping that we can kind of get that barrier situation situated by our first event next year, but it's not going to be by the end of this month, or next month, whatever. Tomorrow's November. But God, reverse is fun. Reverse long is fun. We will do in forward long though. We will be doing that. I got a lot of other things that I kind of been working on to hopefully make things easier to understand and smoother moving forward as we kind of get into our stride with everything. Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to talk a little bit about Friendsgiving. Glad about that. Glad you asked about reverse. And we're just gonna keep. I don't know. I'm excited to go back. I'm not gonna lie. I'm excited to go back to Jackson at the end of this in a month, because it really feels like home, and so that's gonna be pretty cool. And I really like. It makes me really happy seeing everybody kind of just like gather around and just enjoy each other's company. At the end of the day, like it was last year. That was big highlight that I look back on. Um, well, if there aren't any questions, which is perfectly fine, I'm still watching the chat. I we I'll reiterate. I don't know. I think I said this earlier. Thank you guys for being understanding. That's all we're asking for at this point is just try to be understanding. We're coming at this from with the best intent possible, um, and we're trying to do everything we can to bring a good positive um, experience around drifting around here. And it's really tough in situations like this that we're in. Um, and so for all those that have vocalized that, hey, we understand, shit happens. Um, that really means a lot. Like I feel pretty defeated in a lot of ways, just from this last day, and when we see that like that it's at least you guys are being receptive. It helps. Um, you may not realize it. Yeah, good. Definitely appreciate the support, and I'm excited. I'm excited. It's going to be fun. Saturday, I think it's going to be. It's a cool experience. Like, is it as good as Jackson? Maybe not, but it's different and it's fun. Yeah, a matter of opinion. I do. I guess. I mean, I mentioned this in my post too. I'm really excited to see how people react to a place that's a little bit more open. And especially with the way that we're going to do this layout, um, that should be pretty cool. We were kind of playing. We obviously were playing with it on the test day, but like it's nice having. Oh, you can do a nice swoopy entry and smooth into it, and then swing around, and the little manji, and then like tuck it into a corner, and then swing it around a little tight guy. Um, that's pretty cool, but you can also just rail it and go straight at the entry, swing it huge wide, run it all the way down that straightaway, and then like it's kind of cool because you run like a normal corner, and then you let the car unload, build speed, and then you huck it really hard and throw it kind of almost backwards in the next corner before you swing it around the light post before the exit. So I've never tried like setting up a track with like basically Joker lap options, but it should be pretty sweet. It's definitely flows differently depending on how you want to do it, and each route it is fun in a different way. Just the most important thing probably with it is, and we're going to stress this in the drivers meeting, is make sure that if you are tandeming, that your tandem partner knows what you're going to do. What I'm hoping for is that we'll see a lot of people. Yeah, pick your entry, that's fine. But I'm hoping that we'll see a lot of people um, manji kind of. I don't want to say manji the straight, but manji the straight, and then throw it into like a nice little huck before going it around the last left corner and heading off track. Um, there's enough room and bail room that we should be able to keep the grid flowing really hot, get a bunch of people out there, and just keep rolling it through. So, and again, we'll stress this all in the drivers meeting, but it's like basically if you spin out, it's fine. Just get out of the way, get it back in, and we'll just keep it rolling. There's gonna be 100 people out there, right? So we're trying to get those 100 people as much track time as possible and as many quality laps as we possibly can. We've got the three different lines. We got the solo, the tandem, and then the party lane. Um, if you're, if you're just doing solos, that's fine. You can stick with the solo lane. If you're trying to do, the original thought was that we would have the party lane would kind of be more of a like do dumb shit lane. So like, oh, I want to go huck a backy. Well, it's kind of okay. The track's not as good for that in a lot of ways. So we're just going to leave that as the party lane where it's just going to be, we'll be rolling. Like if it's maybe, 3-car tandems with 5-car tandem, 10-car, and whatever. It doesn't matter. We're going to keep it rolling, keep it reasonable. And then the tandem lane is kind of, we're going to send the tandem lane almost at the same rate as we're going to send the solos lane is kind of probably what's going to end up working out so that, you got a good, you're going to get a good clean run, but we're going to give you space. We're not going to have the next driver breathing down your neck, halfway through the lap sort of thing. So that's kind of what we're going to use that for. And then the solo lane, that'll be your opportunity if you do want to, hey, you know what? I think I can huck up backy. Just hop in the solo lane. And that way we can space people out properly. Like you have enough time to recover from a mistake. Say you over rotate your entry or something like that because you were trying to throw on tons of angle because that's why you got in the solo lane. We're already planning for that, right? We're already leaving enough space for that. So that's why we ask, hop in the solo lane if you're going to do something. You're going to try something new by yourself. Hop in the solo lane. And then if you are in the solo lane, you're like, man, like it's gonna go slower. We know it, and it always does. We try to give everyone almost like equal time, really, but it just naturally like it's gonna be a long line. So if you are in the solo lane, you're like, man, this is a line a little long. Don't be afraid to find somebody that's driving at a similar level, or ask one of us to, hey, is there anybody else that's kind of like I might be able to mesh with? To hop in the tandem lane and do some loose tandems. Tandem doesn't mean you need to be up their butt, like you don't need to be 3 inches off their car the whole time to be a good tandem. I mean, like that's a great tandem, but like it just helps being on the same track as somebody else and trying to follow them. So like if you're 20 feet back from the person and you guys are on the same line, that's a good start, right? Because you start at 20 feet back, next thing you know, you're 5 feet away. You're doing the same thing. So yeah, like we want you guys to get comfortable with tandeming, and this is a great play environment to do it in, because it's that's what's fun, man. And especially if you guys are driving similarly, you're going to progress together. You're going to get better and better, and you guys are going to have more fun together. And like, who knows what happens from there? My one of the first people I was tandeming with was Josh, and here we are today. So a lot of the guys from like Bobby's crew exist because we drove together, right? So find your people, right, and don't be afraid to ask if we can point you in the right direction and stuff like that, because we see it. We see people that they're driving very like we know they're driving similarly. They would be great, and if they're driving similarly 20 feet apart and then they get closer and closer, wonderful. And you'll be surprised at how I know. I remember early on when I was tandeming how nervous I got. I think like it was the first, like it was like first or second lap. Remember the feeling that I had. I think it was the first time I ever was like had somebody behind me. I remember the feelings that I had, and like the feelings of like nervousness and discomfort. Just knowing that there was somebody behind me, even if I knew that there was I was completely safe. Like they weren't gonna mess up, and like the only way to get rid of that is just keep on doing it. And so like this is how we get that started, right? This is the okay, I'm spaced off this guy, but at least I know I'm getting better by doing it. So yeah, that's hoping that we see a lot more people take advantage of the tandem lane, even if it's for loose tandems. We're looking for consistency. Consistency yields quality laps for more people, and I think everyone likes to get quality laps. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know what who Grayscale's actual like name is, but yeah, like that's literally the point. Is like leave a little space, and especially running like it gets you on the same line. Like you're doing the same things as Christian. Okay, cool. Thanks, Christian. Yeah, you're doing the same things as the other person, and especially like well, again, this is another like little tip. Um, if you're tandeming with somebody, say, again, learning in the situation where you're 20, 30, whatever many feet back, you're a good distance back. As long as you're still working on running the same line as they are, you're doing the same thing. The problem comes when somebody's far back and they're trying to chop line to catch back up, and then they're also not able to even maintain that distance once they do catch up. So like you'll see this like weird like slinky effect. If you can get rid of that slinky effect, then you are on the right path to tandeming, because all of really like once you're an inch away from each other is because you're doing the exact same thing next to each other. Um, and so that's kind of your progression. Like you want to run the same line, you want to do the same things as the person in front of you, so that as you get closer and closer, you're still running the same line, you're still doing the same things, and you're only going to get better. Um, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And you're gonna have more fun, man. This is so much fun being out there with your buddies, ripping around too. And this track is intentionally set up to where like we should be able to see some pretty good tandems. And we're really excited to see kind of how that unfolds. And then yeah, and then the party lane is like that's we also did the group things. You know, we I do partially hope that people kind of push their boundaries a little bit. But the party lane is going to be rolling hot, and we should be stacking. Yeah, it should be stacked, uh, stacking cars left and right. So that'll be pretty cool to see too. Also, really cool. So another I don't know, just random thought. We're trying to grid on track. We've got the fluids issue that we're obviously I'm trying to make you guys all aware of and trying to avoid. But we want to keep everybody on track for grid because then you can watch. It's so much better gridding on track than it is gridding off track because the alternative is we grid off track and you can't see anything. And you're just kind of sitting the most of the day and then you go out and you do your thing and you come back and you're sitting and you're waiting and then you go back out. At least if you're sitting on grid out on track, you'll be able to watch and that'll be way cooler. So again, going for the fluids thing, make sure your stuff is not leaking because we want you guys to be able to grid out on track. It'll fit everybody nicely. It'll be way cooler as far as being able to look out and see what's going out on track. You can learn from other people too in that process. And there's a lot of room, and it's just like that should be sweet. So that's kind of why do you even want to grid on track? Because it's more fun for everybody. And another thing that you can do from grid when you're out on track is find people who are driving similar to you. Oh, I like how they drive. Let me go hop in behind them. Let me see if they'll let me hop in behind them even, Um, so that'll be cool. Uh, I'm sure some other thing is gonna pop across my mind, but like I kind of don't want to. I'm kind of good. I'm gonna leave it completely open. I'm gonna give it until 8:45. If you guys are good, then I'm good. So we'll give it right to 45 minutes. We got 45 more seconds. I like it. Nah, no, I started late. You ever wonder what ADHD looks like? This is it. And stress. Um, Fun one. You might notice that my sling isn't on. That's pretty exciting. Shoulder's getting better. Recovery's going well. I still got a long road, but it's feeling better and better every day. So that's cool. Yeah, definitely gonna be a fun Saturday. It's gonna be intense though. It's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be intense. Yeah, we're excited to see you out there, man. It's gonna be fun. And I'm really excited. I think there's a few people that have like only driven Jackson. I'm really excited to kind of see how they react to this place if they're there. It's just always interesting seeing the comparison. Relatively way easier track that we're dealing with now than dealing with Jackson. So I think that everyone's going to shine, and that's going to be. I've seen a lot of circle track racing, or circle track drifting. That's what we got. That's what we learned on. It just is what it is. It's really weird that people are actually like learning on a go kart track now because like that was never an option. In the last for me coming up, we'll say. Um, and I think that like the skills you learn on a go-kart track are like the best skills that you can learn for drifting, and everything else is easy. And that's what I kind of hope to see. I hope to see that the people that are like, oh, I've only ever really driven Jackson, they come out here to this track and they're like, oh yeah, I'm slamming this thing. This is awesome. Like destroying this track. Um, and then they can just kind of like turn their brain off and enjoy the flow and have fun. That's kind of not, you don't have to be quite as engaged. You're not constantly, jocks with the car. It's just a little bit more smooth and fun. So, or just smooth, not as intense. And that might be nice. That might be nice. But then when you come out, and then we'll be back to Jackson at the end of this month, and I should be actually maybe cleared to drive at the end of this month, and that would be really cool. So I'm hoping to get out there with you guys too. It'd be nice. It'd feel good to go into the off season that way. Oh, and another idea, thinking of like getting towards the end of the season, is looking postseason. Like there's nothing that says we can't plow some snow off the track and brush the track off and have either a full on it's cleared surface, or maybe we get a couple of inches of snow and we throw some snow tires on the car and go out there drifting. Um, if anyone has, I've been looking for snow tires for my daily, but like some 17-inch snow tires for the 240, dude, that thing would be a shred sled. Um, and then even with that, we might be able to incorporate some degree of like, you don't have to be on track, and if it's snow, So I don't know. Imagine like drifting the pits and then entering into the oval or something like that. Like we might be able to do that. I don't know. Um, but at a minimum, even John, has said like, hey man, like what we can do snow stuff. Like we can plow the track. Like we can brush it off. It's fine. So uh, that's pretty exciting to me, I guess. Because I'm picturing, say it'd be cool if we got like a foot of snow and then we plow the track and like build like these walls along the outside. So it's like you're in this, yeah, Christmas Shred Sesh. Yeah. You're in this like little like alleyway. It's like you're on Rainbow Road sort of thing. Don't hit, but like I'm hoping that it'll be sweet because you can come in, you can like ride the snow wall and stuff like that. That'd be pretty cool. Um, I feel like people are gonna get their stuff stuck into a snowbank, but whatever. That's part of the fun. Um, or just throw some snow tires on the thing and leave 4 inches of snow on the track, and we're rally racing. Yeah, jumps. I want to build a jump out of snow. I think that'd be sweet. A jump drift? Can we jump drift? Like build just a compact shit ton of snow. Yes, I think that is a yes, not a no. Definitely, especially onto the oval. Like I want to do a jump drift there, anyways. A bunch of snow is a great opportunity to make a sweet jump. Try it out at least, and then we can make a landing on the snow if we need to. Uh, but yeah, we're definitely looking at like snow time shenanigans at the racetrack because we we can do that. And I think it'd be really fun. We just got to figure out what that means. Um, yeah, like a Christmas drift fest. Nah, yeah, it'd be pretty fun. Um, oh, well, that was the kind of last random thought that popped in me in my head. Popped inside of me. Popped in my head. Sled shred. Ooh, that's a good name. Sled shred. Bring your shred sleds out to sled shred and shred your sleds. Yeah, cool. Uh, well, I hope that this was beneficial, at least helpful for those who obviously. Thanks for sticking around this long. I'm just kind of rambling sometimes. I got a lot of ideas and thoughts and stuff like that, and if you find it's interesting, then that's cool. Um, yeah. Thanks, guys. Thank you all for joining and obviously, like I said, continuing to support us and everything like that. This is it's been a lot. Um, well, I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. Hopefully, hopefully we can do more of these in the future, just with maybe a little bit better context. Besides this one, I think the YouTube. So before we did it on Facebook, I think I like YouTube more. So I don't know if it matters from a user standpoint, but I know from like it's nice that I was able to schedule this and just kind of join in, and everyone already had the link. I couldn't do that with a Facebook stream. Um, I would have had to start it, and then everyone can finally join. So I don't know. I've never done any of this stuff, so this is all a learning experience, and YouTube seems better at it. If you know have any reason to say otherwise, please let me know because I have no idea. I'm just looking at it from a usability standpoint. Not nervous. All right. All right, thanks, guys. You guys all have a good night. I'm gonna eat some dinner, I think. And maybe we'll send some trick pics. Maybe Tyler and I'll send some pics from the track tomorrow. That's a good idea. But you guys have a good night. Talk to you later. See you on Saturday. Whoop whoop.